Uriel. Yeah. How about I'm gonna call someone to read it out loud for me. It's good that you tried it first, Uriel. Let me how about Kayla? Can you read number 2 out loud for me? And part A.
As part of studying the relationship between reported SAT scores and recorded SAT score, the following scores were obtained. 10, 9, 9,
Oh, just read
15.
part A. Yeah, you can skip the
Okay.
numbers. Yeah.
Determine the range and describe your answer in words.
All right. So part A is easy for you guys, right? What is the range? Everyone, type in the chat for me. I'm sure that you did this in high school already, right? You know how to find the range already. I got Uriel, and who else got the answer? To find the range, you just have to take the what, everyone? Take the largest number, right? You take the largest number in the data set minus the smallest number in the data set. So which one is the largest number here? Everyone type in the chat for me. In the data set, you think it's 19 or 17? If you look at the data set here, which one is the largest one? Oh, you mean that is the range? I see, Laith and Vanessa. So the 24 is the largest one, right? 24 is the largest one. And which one is the smallest? 5? All right, you said that 5 is the smallest one. All right. So 5 is the smallest one. Let me know if you find another one that is smaller than that, okay? All right, so you just take the largest one minus the smallest one, right? Which is 19. Am I correct, everyone? All right, so that's the answer, okay? So that's how you have to explain it. You just say that to find the range, you take the largest number minus the smallest number, okay? Or you can just say that the distance from the largest number to the smallest number in this data set is 19, okay? That's how you explain it. All right, let's move on to part B. And some people had a question about this. I'm gonna ask someone to read it out loud for me. How about those? Can you read part B out loud for me?
Determine the variance using the computational formula.
Computational, yes.
Okay, and describe your answer in words.
All right, thank you. So yeah, in this case, we have to find the variance, right? The variance, okay? And you have to use a computational formula. So here is a computational formula for the variance, everyone. You can find it on the guided lecture notes that you did last time. Or if you don't remember, then write down. Go ahead and write down. So this is the formula for the variance. If you see s of x squared, this is the variance, okay? Variance. I'm gonna give you a few seconds to write down. All right, so you guys are all good, right? So what do you guys think, everyone? Type in the chat for me. You think that this notation here is the same as a notation like this? Do you think they're the same? Say yes or no for me, just by your guess. Even if you get it right or wrong, either way is okay. I'm just testing your understanding. You think they are the same? And it's okay that you learned from your mistakes right now, right? So that in the future you want to make it again. The answer is no, everyone. They're not the same. Okay? They're not the same at all. If you look at the first one, this one here means that you square each number and then you add. Okay? This one means that here I'm going to write down over here so that you can write down also so that in the future you can remember it. So this notation here means that you have to square each number then add the squares. Okay, that is the first one in the formula. And for the second one, you can see that the sum of x and then the whole thing squared. That means that you add all the values first. Then square the sum. Okay? That's the difference between those two notations in the formula. Yeah, so make sure that you write that down so that in the future you can understand it or you can review it. All right, so I have all the data values here. Can you guys double check them for me before we go further? Here are the data values from the list here. Okay, I cannot show the whole thing. Can you guys look at your data set and then, or you can look at it right here and double check it for me to see if I got them right in this table and say yes for me if it's right. And if you see any mistakes, let me know. Let's start from the beginning, the top to the bottom. All right, thank you. Vanessa said that is correct. Other people can double check it for me, okay? So I listed the data values here. In the table already, yeah? And then, all right, Angela, thank you. And then I started from the top to the bottom, okay? All right, so here I got all the data values, and usually data values are called the x in the formula. So you can see that I use the x here, okay, as the data values that are given to you or a data set, okay? And in order for you to use this formula here is called the computational formula. Uriel, you asked me a question earlier. Are you still there? Say yes for me so that I know that you're following. All right, yeah. So this is the computational formula, everyone. I highlighted already. Okay, this is the computational formula. Okay, yeah. So you need to use this formula here to find the variance. Okay, so first you want to list all the data values in the first column, and they are called the x values. And now you have to find the x squared, right? And also the sum of the x squared, and then the sum of the x, and then after that you have to square those that sum, okay? So the first thing that you need to do is what? You have to square each data value. All right, can you tell me if you have a calculator with you? We'll work on this. Can you tell me what is 10 squared? Type in the chat for me. It's too big. What is 10 squared? All right, good, Uriel. How about other people? All right, so it's 100, right? And then the next one is what? All right, 81. What is the next one? 81 as well, right? And what is 15 squared?
225.
225. All right, 225. How about 24 squared? It's going to be a big number, huh? 24 squared. On your calculator, if you don't see the notation squared, then you should type 24 times 24. All right, I got some answers already. 576. How about 11 squared? All right, 121. 5 squared is 25, right? These are easy, so you can just go fast. What is 13 squared, everyone? Vanessa got 121. Yeah. 169. Okay, 169. 16 squared. All right, 256. Yeah, you can double check them for me later. And then this 36, right? Yeah, so that is easy. What is 14 squared? $196. And then 11 squared is 121. We did it above. And then 7 squared is 49. What is 17 squared, everyone? 289. All right, 289. Good. So you have to square each of those values. And now you have to find, I'm going to let you guys try it first. Yeah. What is the sum of the x squared? All right, go ahead and try it first for me. Now you have to find the first one here, everyone. This is the sum of the x squared. So I'm going to write it over here. Okay. What is the sum of the x squared? And let me write it in the other column so you can see it better. The sum of the x squared, that means that you have to add all the squares together, everyone. You have to add all the squares together that we just found. So what is that? All right, you will just give other people a few seconds. Yeah, these are a lot of numbers, so they need more time. Yeah, you got it right, you will. Yeah, this assignment is very long, but there are many new questions. So I had to go over them with you guys. Yeah, Leif got the same answer. All right, so we already got 2 answers. So I trust you guys that you got it right. Other people, if you got the answers, you can just type them in so that I can double check. 2,374. Okay. Yeah, so if you add all these numbers together, then that's what you got, right? All right. Next, you still need to find the second one. So let me see, I'm gonna delete this. Next, you need to find the sum of x, and then after that, you will square that sum. Okay. Let me see, Leif has a question. How do we get the extracted value to Yeah, so can you open module 8 yet, please? Type in the chat for me if you but I feel like today we don't have enough time to finish all the problem. I see. Yeah, you can just show it to me later through the screen. Is that okay? I'm gonna call on you guys and then you will show me the problems and you will get the extra credit, okay? All right. All right, so now in order for you to, give me a second. Yeah, so next you will need to find the sum of the x and then you squared it. So that means that you have to find the sum of the x first, okay? So that means that you have to find the sum of the x first. And then after that, you will square it. All right, so what is the sum of the x here, everyone? Type in the chat for me. The sum of the x values, that means that you have to add up all these x values together first, okay? Who has the answer? Go ahead and type it in. All right, so let me know if you have the answer yet. Is it 174, everyone? Let me know if you got the same thing, or let me know if I got it wrong, okay? Yeah? I don't see any, oh, there is, how come the messages are loading so slow right now? Yeah. Yeah, so the 174 is correct, everyone. All right, so now, in order for you to find the, oh my God, where's the, it's okay. So now you have to find the sum of the x, and then you square it, right? So that means that you have to square the 174, okay? And what is the answer, everyone? Type in the chat for me. That's very big, huh? Yeah, so it's going to be 30,276. That's what you will got, okay? So I don't know if you guys got the same answer, then let me know, or if not, then let me know also. All right, so now we got the two notations. All right, good, Vanessa, thank you. So now we're gonna plug them into the formula, right? So you can see that here is the formula, okay? I can rewrite the formula here so that you can follow it. So here you can see that the sum of x squared, the sum of all the x squared, right? And then minus the sum of x and then squared and then divided by n and then over n again. What is n in this case, everyone? We haven't talked about n. What is n equal to? N is the sample size. Everyone, how many data values are there? That would be the n. So if you count all the data values, then how many are there? 15? All right. How about other people? You think you got 15 too? All right, Vanessa got the same thing too. Evelyn got the same thing too. And means that you look at the data set, everyone. You look at the data set and you count the data values like this. And then n, how many data values there are, then it would be n. Okay, so in this case, there are 15 data values. So the n is 15. Okay. All right, so let's go back to the formula. So now you just have to plug in the numbers, right? So the sum of the x squared is, you can also put the parentheses like this. That's fine. So here is the sum of the x squared. So it's gonna be 2,374. Okay, and then minus the sum of x and then squared. The sum of the x and then squared, which is this one right here. Okay, which is 30,000. Just in case you guys got a different answer, then let me know. Okay, 76, right? And then divided by n. N is 15, which is the sample size. And then divided by the sample size again, n again, which is also 15. All right, and let's calculate this together. 2,374 minus. Make sure that you divide first, everyone. Can you divide for me and let me know what you get? What is 30,276 divided by 15? What you guys get? And I think that on the exam, they will ask you a question like this. So make sure that you know how to do it. You got it. How about other people? I think that is correct. All right, so a few more answers and then I will move on. What is 30,276 divided by 15, everyone? All right, Brianna. All right, so I got a few more answers, which is 2,018, right? 0.4. All right, and then the whole thing still divided by 15. So now you want to subtract on the top first and then divide. What you guys get for the subtraction, anyone? And make sure that you do this with me so that you can get more practice. Because when you make mistakes, you will be able to avoid it in the future, right? All right, so the whole thing, if you subtract, yeah, it just, you can route it to 2 decimal places. Yeah, usually route it to 2 decimal places. So you subtract first, everyone, 355.6 divided by 15. And then you will get 23.71. Yeah, so Vanessa and you got it. You always route to 2 decimal places, okay? Route to 2 decimal places, okay? Usually, if they don't ask you to route to a different decimal place, then always route to 2, okay? All right, so this is the variance, everyone. If you see the notation is s of x squared, s of x squared. This is called the variance. Yeah, it has to be the s of x, and then don't forget that it's the squared, okay? Oh, really, Uriel? Yeah, Uriel said that sometimes the quiz would ask you to route it to 3 decimal places. In general, if they don't ask you, then route to 2, but if they ask you to route to 3, then do it, okay? but based on my own experience, then usually it's just 2. All right. But now they're also asking you to find the standard deviation. Part C, you have to find the standard deviation using the computational formula. How do you guys do this, everyone? Using the result of part B that you just did. The notation of the standard deviation is S sub x, okay? That's what you have to find, right? S sub x is the standard deviation, okay? So type in the chat for me to see how, or like what you guys get. That's great, Uriel. About other people, how do you guys find the standard deviation? All right, Uriel got the answer. About other people? All right, so notice that in part A, you guys got the variance. So the variance S sub x squared is what? 23.71, right? And so to find the standard deviation, to find the S sub x, which is the standard deviation, you just have to take the square root of the variance. Take the square root of the variance. That means that it is the square root of 23.71. Is that right? So now can you tell me the answer in the chat to see what you guys get? You just have to take the square root of the 23.71. What do you guys get there? Type in the chat for me. All right, Leith got the answer too. About other people? How about Gabby, Evelyn, Juan? Haven't. All right, Angela, good. Kayla. All right, so we got a decent number of answers here. It's gonna be 4.87, right? If you round it to 2 decimal places. Yeah, so that is a standard deviation, okay? So you use a computational formula to find the variance first, right? And then after that, you take the square root of the variance to get the standard deviation, okay? And I'm sure that on the exam, they will ask you to do this kind of problem, then you should be able to do it, okay? And practice a few times until. Number 3, Laith, can you read it out loud for me?
If the differences of recorded and reported scores of SAT could be tested for all possible participants in question 2, what would the following be?
All right. So how do you guys do this? Just think about it and then try it first for me, and then I will talk about it, because if you don't think about it, then you will not know what's about. All right, any ideas? So in this case, they are talking about all the possible participants, right? That means that here in number 2, it's about the sample. But if you talk about all the participants here, that means that in this case, they're talking about the population, okay? Population. And for the formula that you use for the population, it's similar to number 2, except for the bottom one, you just have to subtract 1 from the end. So the formula would be, you just have to use the same formula, right? You just have, what is the formula, everyone? It's the sum of x squared, right? And then minus or plus, what did you think? Type in the chat for me if you can remember it. All right, so minus the sum, right? I'm talking about it right now, Uriel. So the sum of the x, right? And then you square it, right? That's the formula from part A. Part 2, right? And then n. But now for the formula, you need to take n minus 1. This is the only difference between part A and part 3, okay? Yeah, and when you subtract 1 from n, that means that is the formula for the population, okay?